Eddie Watkins, Spirit flow through me as I open to be an expression of your unfolding love. Who doesn't want that? And maybe, I don't know if you've noticed, this month the theme in the Centers for Spiritual Living has been all about flow. The flow of coming and going. So I love that song because it reminds me that we can always tap in to that flow. And this month we've explored how, in the face of life's constant changes and the noises in the world, have you noticed? We can maintain our self-awareness through our spiritual practices, such as meditation, sitting in silence, being in the awe of nature, prayer, connecting to our source, whatever that name is for you. And last week I reminded you that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. Yeah, you are. And to everything there is a season. And I also shared the butterfly story about emerging from the goo, G-O-O. Did anybody experience any goo this week? Getting stuck in that yuck stuff that eventually maybe you're going to transform. So today, it's go with the flow. So the first talk I did was let it flow. Then it was in the flow. Now it's go with the flow. Because I don't know about you, but circumstances in life doesn't always behave as I wish it would. Have you ever noticed that? So we have a couple of options there. First, we could get stuck in frustration and anger and dismay and be out of the flow. Or we can turn to that infinite mind for possibilities. Perhaps discovering something we never even imagined that could be available. We can go with the flow and daily place ourselves in the infinite flow of good, what I call, bless you, the river of good. So Michael Beckwith, one of my favorite teachers, says this: when we are in the flow and go with the flow, we are in vibrational harmony with the frequency of peace, love, and joy. And we are all vibrational beings, right? Everything is a vibration. And the frequency is the speed of the vibration. So we can have the frequency of fear, resentment, which isn't the same frequency as love, or peace, or well-being, right? I've often said to you, you can't be grumpy and grateful at the same time. It's impossible. So we can come into a higher oscillation of our vibration, as Michael says, by consciously connecting to the universal power and presence and move out of the lower vibe of not enoughness, shame, guilt, blame. We can. Michael says your frequency is your currency. Hear that? Your frequency is your currency. Because your frequency is like a signal, and it goes out into the quantum field and operated on by a universal law, which is what we talk about here. And it matches itself and outpictures as your life. So what's your signal? Oh, yeah. Sometimes we have to pay attention to that, don't we? But again, through our mindfulness, through our spiritual practices, through meditation, we learn how to stabilize a higher frequency, so even when life is difficult, even when life shows up not the way we think it should, we can align ourselves with our divine self, our higher power, God, the Creator, whatever name, and bring our best self forward. What about that? Yeah. High five that.
High five.
I miss Floyd. Floyd was always giving us the high five. So you guys have to do that now. I raise my frequency as I affirm that I live, move, and have my being in the one. Say this with me. I raise my frequency as I affirm that I live, Take back your mind, right? Have you ever had a trigger from someone? Have you ever been triggered?
No.
Not you.
No.
I just was this morning, actually. But when we're conscious of our triggers, we're able to become more of an observer and witness, right? To notice if we're coming from fear or love. And then if that triggering issue leads us to anger and disappointment, we can, as we learn here, take a pause, observe our thoughts without dwelling on them. Be curious. Oh, wow, this is really triggering me. Just by saying that lifts you above the trigger. And again, quantum physics tells us that we live in a world of infinite possibilities, and that we create our experience through the attention we give at every moment. So in such moments of difficulty through a trigger, maybe, you can drop into the flow, wrap your arms around the thoughts of love, ask for guidance, and begin to find gratitude for something new that trigger provided. I know that trigger's making me or giving me an opportunity to clean something up. Rather than, why is this happening again? Right? There's a difference. It's so subtle, but there is a difference. Challenging times come to make us better, not bitter.
I like
That's a
Just change a vowel. One vowel.
Challenging times come to make us better, not bitter. Now, that's a choice. You can stay in the victim mode and say, oh, life is against me and all this is so hard. It is, it can be. And it also can make you better, not bitter. So if you notice on the back of your programs, I have the little synopsis, which was requested by Eric. And that should be on, did I write that on there? Because I think that's a keeper.
I don't know.
On the little white page.
Oh,
On the white page.
Yes.
On the white page.
Oh, the white page. Hello.
That's your synopsis of my talk today. So think about it, everybody. It's like a hurdle at an athletic event, right? The hurdles are not meant to stop the athlete. They're meant to jump over. Yeah, I know. So we get in the practice of gratitude, blessing, and planting consciously from gratitude. And the definition of gratitude is simply an appreciative aspect toward life. We can always find something to be grateful for, right? Something even small. So when that trigger comes and pushes your button, take a breath, open your heart, and remember to be grateful for something. And ask and be curious about, wow, what's this calling me forward for? What is mine to do here? Because gratitude connects us to the flow. It connects us to the flow, and it opens the door to a more positive feeling, such as happiness or joy or contentment. It creates a shift, and we all can feel that, right? So I've shared this story before, but I'm going to share it again. This is about a gentleman who lived in New York, and he wrote a book, or was writing a book about happiness. And he happened to be going down to Florida to see his elderly mother, who was an elderly Jewish gal who was always kvetching about something. Oh, yeah, this is too hot, this is too cold, I'm freezing. Oh, the meat isn't cooked right. Oh, yeah. Right? So anybody know people like that? So he went down to visit his mom, and he said to her, Mom, I'm writing this book about happiness. And she rolled her eyes. Oh, yeah, well, whatever. He said, so I have this process that I want you to start practicing. And it's whenever you catch yourself judging or complaining, you stop and you say, and my life is blessed. Shifts the vibration. So, he said, would you be willing to let me support you in this week while I'm visiting? And, oh, yes, okay. So they would be doing something and she'd be kvetching about this and that, and he'd put his hand on her and say, Mom, and my life is blessed. And my life is blessed. Okay. So they did this over and over and over and over. And eventually he didn't have to prompt her. So he went back to New York. Well, a couple of weeks later, his sister called, her brother, and she said, what did you do to Mother? And he said, what do you mean? Oh, she's just blessing everything. And she seems happy. She doesn't complain anymore. It's a true story. I may have embellished it, but I love that idea. Because we can catch ourselves, and I do this often. I have little sticky notes, actually, on my computer in my car that say, and, underline, my life is blessed. So when I start complaining about something, that this isn't right, or this isn't this or that, and my life is blessed. Just say that to yourself. And my life is blessed. Because we are so blessed. Oh my goodness. When we see all the destruction and the wars and the this and the that that's going on in the world, and my life is blessed. Or say it silently to yourself when the person next to you is grumpy. And your life is blessed. Now, that is a prayer in itself.
Right.
That is a prayer. Praising, giving thanks, and appreciation are all high vibrations. It raises your consciousness. So our founder in the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, called prayer a movement of thought. Simply. And we can cultivate a continual progression of thought that opens our minds to infinite inspiration and that divine flow of good. Let's repeat that affirmation. Repeat after me. I raise my frequency as I affirm.
I raise my frequency as I affirm
That I live, move, and have my being in the one.
that I live, move, and have my being in the one.
Good. Because with all the demands that life can place on us, I don't know about you, but I would like to be available and open to the element of the divine's blessings as much as I can. I can use all I can get. So how do you wake up each morning? I wake up, I open my arms, and I say, thank you for another day to shine my light. What creative genius am I going to be today? Who am I going to serve? And I smile, and I get out of bed. Pay attention to how you approach that first thing that you do in the day. Where's your consciousness? Where are you setting your vibration? Because it's up to you. It's an inside job. It's good to remember that we can, what's called, invoke divine right action. And when we do that, it opens us up to infinite resources. So the great late Wayne Dyer, remember him? What an amazing man. He wrote a book called There is a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem, which there is. And that is about turning it over to a greater power, right? Turning over your problem. And this takes faith. It takes a lot of faith. And faith is knowing that your outcome will be for your highest good. Even if you don't get the outcome you want, it's actually for your highest good, divine right action. And we have to have faith and trust and be patient sometimes. It might not show up right away. So after service today, I'm offering this workshop, From Fear to Faith. And we have a worksheet that you're going to work on, and you write down something that you're wrapped around with fear, and then it turns it all around into gathering that faith and adding a divine quality, and it totally transforms that feeling of fear from fear to faith. So if you can stay today, it's free, please stay. So in my years of study in the science of mind philosophy, which is about going on 28, 29 years now, I've been in this philosophy, I did learn that term, divine right action. And I used to think it was kind of a catch-all phrase when people didn't know what they wanted to experience. So just give me something good, right? But it's simple. We put the treatment, our spiritual mind treatment, or our prayer in play, and we release it into the divine mind as divine right action. Because that mind that's bigger than us knows better than us. It knows a lot better than us. So I've really come to appreciate this grouping of words as I call on that vastness of the infinite mind in my prayer work. Divine right action. Because, again, that mind knows better than we do. And to go to divine right action indicates our faith in the infinite intelligence to provide us with the best form for whatever situation it is. I welcome divine right action in my life.
I welcome divine right action in my life.
Take a breath with that. And say it again. I welcome divine right action in my life. Because when things in our life are difficult and the way forward is not clear, how comforting it is to know that by invoking divine right action, it allows the mind of the Creator, which we're a part of, to provide a resolution that best serves our purposes. Turn it over. Ernest Holmes said, in the silence of your own consciousness, alone with the great reality, you balance the account. So take a breath. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. And just bring to mind any difficulty that you may be facing right now. Any upset physically, mentally, or emotionally. With a relationship, with your finances, just whatever's got your attention. And imagine that you can turn it over. That you can just let it go. Imagine. What if I invoke divine right action around this situation and trust and have faith that there's a greater good here for me? And that I go with the flow. And breathe. Ernest Holmes said, thus you are already prepared to test the principle by allowing this life to flow through what you are and what you do. Things happen because of an immutable law, and you need not energize the essence of being. Its power is already supreme. So you're tapping into that supreme power when you invoke divine right action around any situation or circumstance. Try it. Try it this week. And take a breath and come back. And just maybe it's already gone or shifted. So I want to close with a story from Mark Nebo today. It's called The Stones at Chimayo. On the way to Chimayo, a woman saw two Spanish farmers repositioning stones in a riverbed to redirect the flow. She felt compelled to help. She had the feeling that this had been done for centuries. Their mothers and fathers, their grandmothers and grandfathers, each in their own time and way, picking up the same stones pushed about by storm or drought and putting them back so the water can continue to flow. It seems this is the never-ending work of relationships, each of us in our own time and way, moving the stones between us, repositioning the heavy things that get in the way so that life of feeling can continue to flow. The weather of simply living can jam things up, and we, like every generation before us, must roll up our pants and sleeves, step into the river, and unclog the flow. Of course, we need to ask, what are the stones pushed about between us? What are the heavy things that keep getting in my way? No doubt they are infinite and particular, but often they are made of habits of not, N-O-T. Not seen, not hearing, not feeling, not being present, not risking the truth, and not risking the heart's need to live out in the open. That we close off, jam up, spill over, and dry up are all part of being human. That we feel compelled, though, to stop and help, even strangers, move the heavy thing out of the way is an impulse known as love, period. Love. Helping each other move stones out of the way. I think it's up to all of us in community to lift up our world. All of us to take a stand for love. So think about what it is that you are not allowing to flow freely through you. Take my workshop today. Maybe you'll have a shift. I am personally willing to go with the flow and be an expression of love, period. How about you? I see heads nodding. Let's affirm that. I am willing to go with the flow.
I am willing to go with the flow.
And be an expression of love.
And be an expression of love.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Take a breath. Be grateful for your life. And recognize that there is a power and presence in this universe that is strong and powerful and mighty and magnificent. One heart, one mind, one breath. Infinite intelligence. The divine creator, God, spirit, source, whatever name. It is moving in and through everything and everyone. So each of us is like a drop of the ocean, that drop of water from the ocean. And we all contain the same qualities as that one. So we call forth today those qualities of love, compassion, forgiveness, order, harmony, peace, to show up in our life, to guide us into divine right action. So I'm knowing that this week, that we each step into that higher vibration, that higher frequency, as we call forth that right action, to support us in everything we do, knowing that God's got our back. The divine has our back, no question. And so it is my prayer for each of you this week that we take a stand for love. That's all. Just take a stand for love, for yourself and everyone in your life and everyone in the world. Let that shine out. Let it radiate out. And it's already happening right now. So there's a healing going on right now in this room. I know that. I feel that. And I'm grateful for that. They're even honking. Approving of the message. Thank you, geese. And we just let it be so, and so it is.
So it is.
They're honking because they're getting their spiritual gooses.